Alright, ladies and gentlemen, Django is dead. We killed him. So yeah, Django suspended. So is Triple Dark Raid and DJ. DJ, I'm really glad, is gone because it's a toxic interaction. No one likes it. Even if you pay the 7 for him, like, it's just annoying to play against. Triple Dark Raid, it made things like Piett Yellow and I mean, really just Piett Yellow. It made Django Fed a lot better, but it made Piett Yellow actually viable, which was really weird. Not that it was bad, but it just Triple Dark Raid as a card felt really strong. So, especially in future sets, it might have had a bigger impact. So this might have just been more of a prep for the future kind of ban. But for now, Django Fett and DJ gone. Very happy about that. So, building off of that, new meta is going to happen. What's going to happen with that meta? Well, I have predictions, and there's a lot of them. We're going to go over the decks and basically just why I think they're going to be good. Starting it off, we have Han Yellow, Spark Han. Obviously, the DJs are gone, so you're not going to see that anymore, but things like Kira and the Millennium Falcons, Tex you might not see as much anymore. Cunning's still a strong card. Mandalorian, also a strong card. There's a lot of solid options for Han that are still there. I like Sparks. I like Sparks. They're really fun. They're not quite as good as Force Throw, in my opinion, but getting to choose what people get rid of is still wonderful. Millennium Falcons, once again, strong unit. Han in general, solid card, especially with Smuggle. You know, you got the tech in there. Still probably to stay in there, even if he's not there for the sake of the DJ interaction. Still a solid card with Han because you're going to be discarding a lot. This list is in no specific order because that would just make sense. And obviously, I can't predict exactly what's going to happen with the meta. Up next, we have Luke. I don't see this being at the top of the meta, but I still see this being a decent deck. This was heavily built around Django, it felt, as are most shield decks. But I like Luke as a deck. I have high hopes for it, especially like the Sabine's masterpieces that came out of the new set. I just think they're a wonderful addition. Blue leaders are very strong, 3-cost space unit. Yeah, we'll see. Sabine. Aggro is back. As a Sabine player, or someone who played Sabine in the past, I'm very happy about this. I don't see the deck list changing too much, obviously. You know, Sabine's Masterpiece, solid card. The Phoenix Squadron A-Wings, also good for this set. Sundari Peacekeepers, I mean, they're from a previous set. I prefer going with Echo-based defenders, but giving them a shot, we'll see how it goes. Cham, also just super useful card. Yeah, the deck's not going to change much. Darksaber's definitely back in because upgrades are less punishing now. Which is why I can see things like just going back to Luke being stronger. But yeah. Speaking of aggro, Kazuda Red. It's going to happen. This honestly might be a better deck than Sabine, in my opinion. It just... Some of the cards in here can go so fast. Especially, actually, they're not in here. But, oh, what are they called? I have one standing over there. The Stolen AT Haulers. The Stolen AT Haulers are going to be beautiful with Kazuda. They're definitely going to go back up in price, being a legendary. But yeah. War Juggernauts are still in the game, which are obviously a strong card. Not as strong without Django, obviously, but 1 damage every unit, getting +1 for each. Beautiful work. Bossk Blue. There's nothing to say about it. It's Bossk Blue. It's a very good control deck. You know, it's miserable to play against, but honestly, you gotta respect the people that play it. They play it well. Annihilators obviously will be in there now. Maybe just 1 or 2, but still a great card to have. Anakin Colossus. Now, we saw this doing pretty decent in the Django meta, and I don't see that changing much. This wasn't hugely built around JANGO. Like, you've still got a solid mix of cards. Anakin is a very powerful leader, especially with Colossus. That extra 5 gives you a bit more room. Being blue, you get more control now, and just having aggression gives you things like the Force Throw that you need, or Cassians, which are a great card to smuggle. This card, which I dare not to pronounce, she's fun. She's very cool, and there being like just many tactics with Vigilance, it's going to be great. Saxon. I don't think this is going to be an amazing one, but I think it's going to be decent. I think there's going to be a place for it in this meta. I think it'll be a top 8 contender for sure. But I just think that's mainly because it's a Cunning Blue deck. Cunning Blue is a combo I really enjoy. Cad Blue. I made a video on this. Obviously, this deck list is a bit different. This was made by someone else. But yeah, it's Cad Blue. Changing out some things. Honestly, I don't see much changing. I see maybe Lone Pikes, but they're still a great card to smuggle, and having shields in your units is never a bad thing. Against Quinlan, it's not as great because they can ping your shields, but at the end of the day, it's still a strong deck. Maybe not as strong, though, as Cad Tarkintown. I think that was a great segue. Yeah, it's Cad Tarkintown. Tarkintown's a very strong card. Very fun card to use. That 3 damage gets you a lot of value. And what else we got? Yeah, it's like... I think it's going to be up there with Quinlan at the top of the meta. So I think it's going to be a Cunning aggression meta for sure. But I also think that things going back, like Sabine and even Han, still going to be up there. I have high hopes for everything else that was mentioned. Bossk Blue is not like I have super high hopes for it. I think it'll perform about as well as people play it. But really, it's not going to be one of those decks you're going to see everywhere. After that, we got Piett Blue. Control is back. I mean, Control never really left, but Piett, it's not going to get punished as much now. It's like JANGO is just such a punishing deck for this, because the whole idea is bring in big units, and even if he's not in, being able to exhaust anything was just disgusting. And I think Piett Blue does a really good job of controlling the board for just long enough for you to start getting those big units out, especially the Avenger and the Annihilator, even the Devastator, that let you even control the ground area a lot more. I think it'll be great. I think we might see a bit more of play onto ground units with Piett Blue, just so maybe some sentinel things like the Phase 3 Dark Trooper, just to protect the Piett, but even the one less is huge. Makes your opponents have to do a bit more mental math, expecting what you're going to play, and play around that. We have Piett Red as well. Once again, there will be changes to this likely. This is the deck that I made way back when. It's been barely edited because I haven't played it much, but I think it will definitely be a strong contender for top 8. Last but not least, Quinlan Tarkintown. I think this will definitely be the deck that we see the most now that JANGO is gone. We were already seeing it a decent amount against JANGO, but I don't think that it really had... It wasn't built 100% around JANGO. Obviously, there were some things in here that made it strong against JANGO, especially Spark of Rebellions, which this person doesn't even have. And, yeah, like... There's nothing too huge. They're in the sideboard here. There we go. I'm just blind. There's nothing too huge that was built strictly for JANGO and has still performed extremely well against other aggro decks and even Control, being able to make them discard their cards. They had very little they could do against you while still doing solid damage with low-cost units. Yeah, it's a good deck all around. And obviously, Tarkintown. We're going to see a lot of that. I expect a lot of Cunning Red, whether it's heroism or villainy. We're going to see a lot of it in the new set, and I don't think it's bad for the game. because control is one of those things where we're going to see it less. We're always going to end up probably seeing it less in the meta than any other colors, but control it as an aspect is very strong as a secondary color. There's like, just looking back at things we've gone through, we have Piett Blue, Bossk Blue, Cad Blue. They're all going to be strong decks, and blue adds a lot to them. Just, in a pinch, being able to get rid of units and control the board, to have a little bit more wiggle room to work around with is a wonderful thing. And command, honestly, I see being the weakest aspect right now. That's not to say command is bad. I think, obviously, Sabine ECL. I don't think it takes full advantage of command. A lot of it was the ECL craze, but that's, I feel like, less big now. Don't quote me on that. But, Dark Sabers you don't see too often. Obviously, that was because of JANGO. But Dark Sabers, really, they have limited use in the deck. Bright Hopes, now that Jump to Light Speed has given Sabine a lot more fighter units, are less important because you'll be in space a bit more. Peacekeepers, really the only real thing you get out of here is Peacekeepers, Echo-based Defenders, Battlefield Marines, and Rebel Assault, which are huge for the deck, but green as a whole color, just looking at everything else we've talked about today, it's okay. Like, once again, green. Command. Very strong. Devastators. One could say they're devastating. That was a terrible pun. But yeah, Overwhelming Barrage, very strong card. Once again, command is not a bad aspect. No aspect I think is in a bad place right now. I think there's just, my mental tier list, my opinion, Cunning's at the top, followed by Aggression, then Vigilance, and lastly, Command. But I think everything listed, these are my expectations of what we're going to see in the top 5, top 8 at Planetary Qualifiers from now on. That's it. Those are my guesses. Might do some more deck videos looking into these decks further and talking about their interactions. But for now, that's everything. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.